authors, it's Melody and welcome to Author Nation. And today is really, really special for a couple of reasons. One, this is the first episode of 2022, and so I'm really excited about that. We have guests lined up right to the end of March already, some awesome people coming up. Second reason I'm so excited is we just launched a author membership so that we can offer you even more goodies. So look into that. Link is in the description. And thirdly, I have two very special people on today, and I'm so excited that they could make it today because today is the 1-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. And the two people I'm bringing on today are the reason I have a YouTube channel. They were my YouTube coaches. And so I wanted to celebrate this with them. So Orit Esselin and Jewel Tolentino are full-time creatives, YouTubers, and founders of Essetino Media. Their passion is helping others leverage the power of YouTube to build authority and expand their audience, make a bigger impact, and monetize. They launched the channel in 2015, and they've been dedicated to teaching creative entrepreneurs since then how to create profitable content and grow their business online. Their channel already has over 44,000 subscribers, and they have multiple revenue streams, and they bring in 5 figures a month in revenues. But they're not, you're going to think like, oh, wow, they're going to be like, intense. No, they're lovely, wonderful, fun people. These ladies have helped over 80,000 students through their online courses and community and private coaching services. I was one of their private coaching clients. They have helped me so much. Please welcome Orit and Jewel. Hi, ladies. How are you today?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Thanks for the intro, Melody.
Yeah, you're the reason I'm here today, and I just really wanted to celebrate with you. I don't know if you realized it's the 1-year anniversary, but I really
did not know. That was a nice surprise for us backstage.
Yes. I didn't want to tell you just in case you didn't realize. So first question, I want to know how you got your awesome names. You sound like a pop star duo.
Like our actual names or the name Essetino?
No, Jewel and Orit.
Oh, like our actual names.
Yeah, you sound like pop star duo.
First, then me next.
Yeah, so my name, a lot of people ask me if my real name is Jewel, and I do have to say that, yes, it is indeed on my birth certificate. And my parents explained that my original name was either going to be Xerox or Agatha. And
true story.
This was in the 80s, and Xerox, the paper Xeroxing company, was really huge at the time. It was very popular, and my dad really liked the sound of that name. And so luckily my mom stepped in and suggested the name Jewel because they actually heard it from somewhere else in Winnipeg. I was born in Winnipeg. And they heard that some other girl was named Jewel. And so in the nick of time, that name came in, and I am Jewel, and I'm not Xerox or Agatha. And I apologize to anyone if that is their name. But yeah, I love my name, and that's how it happened.
Oh, I'm so grateful you're Jewel. I mean, I love your name. I'm so grateful you're not Xerox. I'm sorry if you have that name, but being named after a paper company doesn't sound exciting. So.
I think it was the X that like romanticized
like
the
Xerox.
name.
It was innovative at the time in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And you're innovative, so I see the connection. But I love Jewel. Orit, how about you?
I have a less anecdotal reason for my name. Orit is actually a very popular name in Israel. So it's an Israeli name. And it's usually spelled O-R-I-T. And my parents just wanted to do something different and spell it A-U-R-E-T. A lot of people think it's French, like Ore or something. But yeah, what it means is the goddess of light, because Or in Hebrew means light.
So, lovely. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, thank you.
Goddess of light to paper company.
No, goddess of light and innovation. Let's just,
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. So you guys work as a team, like you're always together. So tell me how you became partners in this Essetino Media adventure that you're on.
Yeah, so we've actually known each other since grade 8 high school, since we were 12 or 13 years old. And we initially, yeah, we went to this high school here in Vancouver, and we weren't friends initially, but as you go through, you go through different friend groups and everything. And
Mhm.
eventually in
Yeah.
grade 10, I was part of a different group, she was part of another group, and the group molded together. And you know how Arit's name is really unique and weird, right? Well, at the time in the early 2000s, that was such a foreign, weird name. And so
Still is.
Arit was in the group, and I actually did not call her by her first name because I didn't know how to say it. So I would just always go, "Hey, how's it going?" Or, this and that, homework and all that. And I wouldn't actually say her name until we went to like a Pizza Hut. And then I was like, "How do you actually say your name?" And it had already been like 3 years since I had known her from high school. And a long story short, we went through high school. We had these set paths. So it was a different world back in the early 2000s. There was no social media, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook. And so we had these paths already set out for us. I was to become a nurse, and because I'm Filipino, that's kind of what the culture does, is they kind of send you down this, okay, you're Filipino, you're female, you are to become a nurse, and whether you like it or not. And Arit was supposed to become a doctor because she is Jewish and of the Israeli culture. So I know it sounds like really crazy, but that's how it was for us in our family. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the structure. And I was on the path to go to nursing school. And partway through, when I was at Kwantlen College at the time, it's now a university, I dropped out, and I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot see myself as a nurse. I'm not knocking nurses or anything like that. We need them. They're amazing. But I truly believe that you need to actually like what you do in life. Otherwise,
Mhm.
your life is not going to be a fun one. And
Yeah.
I realized that. And so I dropped out, and I just started floating around. And Arit was going into taking the exams for med school.
Yeah, I went to the University of British Columbia here, was taking all the prerequisites to get into med school. So I was taking science courses and psychology too, because I love that. My degree is in psychology, but I was on the path to going into med school. Like I took the MCAT, which is the admissions exam to get into medical school, twice. And, like it, just throughout that entire journey, like I enjoy learning about sciences and everything. I really do. But as it was getting closer and closer, like I graduated with that degree, I took the MCAT a second time around. I just really realizing, like, do I really want to do this? I was becoming really stressed, and when you're in that state of like stress and everything, you don't necessarily know exactly what it is, but you just keep doing the things that you're doing, just doing the motions. And I think what was really amazing, like a great decision that I ended up making, was instead of just continuing to do more school, because that was all that I knew, was like eat, sleep, study, repeat. After graduating, I was like, I just want to work. I'm just going to go and get this office job that I have. It's like a benefits program job. So I was a national administrator, working with counselors and stuff. And so like that, I think that was the reset, and just allowed me to do something different and think more about what was going on for me. So that's how we, like, our lives were going in parallel, right? Like we've been friends. We weren't really best friends in high school. That friendship really started to evolve when we were like in the same kind of boat,
Yeah.
not being satisfied with the
Yeah.
way our lives were going.
And then fast forward to 2009, I was pretty depressed with my life because I had this insurance job in downtown. I was really confused at life. I was like, I'm in my early 20s. I think I have a good job. I'm getting paid 20 something an hour at this really easy office job. Why aren't I happy? And I was actually asking, please give me a sign of something. And randomly, I went into the Chapters bookstore on Broadway Street, which is just outside downtown Vancouver. and I found the book The Secret. And the book The Secret, I had no idea what it was. It honestly attracted me because there was like this medieval stamp on it. And all throughout high school, I really liked medieval times. That's why I like Game of Thrones and that whole theme. And I just picked it up and I read it in one day. And after reading that book, I said, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. And that's literally how it happened. I told Dorit, I was like, you need to read this book. We need to start creating stuff for ourselves. I want to create my own income, my own life. I want to be free. And that's honestly how it happened. And then in 2015 is when we found YouTube, and we went full time in 2015, and then really started to make things happen in 2018 with our YouTube channel with the multiple income streams.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And I want to dive into YouTube because that's why we're here. But I just want to say, Getting It Done North of 7 is here. Hey, Jewel and Areed. And by the way, no to Xerox, just to let you know, so you know. And, we also have CF Moto Side Rider. Hello, everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah. And if you're out there watching, please drop some questions, drop some comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Ask away, because that's why we're here to answer all of your questions today. So let's jump into YouTube. So first off, why should authors be on YouTube? I mean, they are writers. They're not video people. Why should they be there?
Well, that's the thing, is you guys are all writers. And if a writer were to step into the video realm right away, you're going to stand out from a lot of different writers.
Yeah.
Video in general, YouTube specifically, makes you stand out in a way that most people cannot get to because they're so scared of being on video. Think of it like this. Everybody has a Facebook account, Twitter, Instagram, things like that. It's so much easier to post a photo, to post a text, to post that. You got to be at a different level to post a video on a YouTube channel. Most people have YouTube channel accounts to watch YouTube videos, but not many people have YouTube channels of their own, like you and I, because it's scary. And the thing is, if it was easy, then everyone would have YouTube channels like everyone has a Facebook account, right? So it just sets you apart immediately from everybody else.
It sets you apart, and you also have the ability to create a deeper connection with your viewers and your audience, way more than just like from an image or a text post. Yes, of course, writing and everything, like we connect with the authors in that way. But, you know, when you think of like when you're just texting with someone that you haven't necessarily met versus actually meeting them in person, video isn't the same thing as meeting in person, but it's a form of that, right? You're going to create a deeper connection. You're going to get to know them better, like them better, trust them better, because you're seeing them. And I mean, business is all about doing, you know, partnerships and stuff with humans. We're all human. And I think that's really like where video marketing, whether it's posting videos on YouTube or any other platform, like, of course, we're proponents of YouTube, but find a way to incorporate video marketing into your promotions, because you're going to really start to build a tribe of people who just like keep coming back and listening and, you know, loving your stuff and giving you comments about how you really help them. So those are two main reasons.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. I just want to pick up on something Jewel said. She said, you know, so many people have YouTube accounts so that they can watch video. And something I've always said to my kids, but also to other people, it's like, look, don't consume content, produce content, right? There are consumers and there are producers. And you want to be a producer of content, not a consumer. And not to say I never consume content, but, you know, if on the balance of things, for every hour of content you consume, spend 2 hours producing content for the world, because that's, most people are consumers of content, and it's the producers of content that tend to move forward and go somewhere, right? And so I just want to throw that out there. So let's talk about, we have Little Garden on the Prairie in the house. And I just want to say,
hello.
Actually working at his day job, so sneaking out.
That's awesome.
Thank you for sneaking out of your day job. Just wanted to thank you for that. Okay, we have to talk about fear, because you know, people get it. People are like, yeah, I get it. I get it. You know, I need to produce, but I'm terrified. I'm terrified. How do I get over this absolute terror of like somebody looking at me, right? And what if I make a mistake? And what if I sound stupid? And so what is your advice to that?
So you kind of have to zoom out and think of the bigger picture and think about why is it you're wanting to do this, or wanting, like, why is it that you need to put yourself out there? And you got to think of it on the other side rather than just you. Because when you're thinking about, oh, you know, am I going to look bad? Am I going to make a mistake? It's like you, but you need to be like, who is this for? Who is this going to help? And think about that. Put yourself on the other side. So for us, with our YouTube channel, I'm always thinking about the person who's going to watch this video, who this video is going to help. And you know how many times I get on the camera and I'm like, oh, my hair looks gross. I don't feel like I'm, you know, whatever. I look tired. It's usually about my hair, to be honest. So you just have, like, most of the time, if you are providing good value and you're being true and authentic, most people will not care. We actually get a lot of comments from our YouTube coaching clients who are older. They're above the age of 50, and they have this weird feeling of ageism. And they're like, wait, should I be on YouTube? I'm like above 50. You know, what are people going to think of me? And I'm like, that's actually cool that you are older and you're going to be on YouTube. You will stand out so much more. And the thing is, there's going to be haters. It doesn't matter how good you are, how much free value you provide. If you're giving the exact answer that the person needs, there's always going to be someone who's going to make fun of you. And that just, it comes with the territory, and you have to be okay with it.
You also have to remember that it's okay to be a work in progress. That is so, like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone on video and just, like, after the video is filmed, felt so unsatisfied and like thought to myself, this could have been better. Like, I didn't do a good job. And then, you know, because we're just like, done is better than perfect, we release the video, and it's crazy how many times people really, really appreciate the video, and you see in the comments, thank you so much for this, has helped me so much. And, you know, like, to me, that wasn't good enough. I think you know, especially with creatives and creators, you're always going to have this voice in your head saying that wasn't good enough. But everyone's definition of perfect and what is good is different. So even if you think it's perfect, it's probably not perfect for someone else watching it. You know, they might think it's not good. So everyone has that different definition, and the only way to get past it is just through it. You just have to, like, just make it a goal to just film your first video. And it might take hours. It took, like, me hours to film my first video. Super scary, super uncomfortable, very messy, was sweating like crazy. But, you know, it's just, it gets better. It really does. And you just have to push yourself to get through it.
As long as you're focusing on getting 1% better with your videos, and, you know, because you're not going to say the right thing. You're going to say a bunch of times and stutter and whatever. I still do it all the time in my videos. But the cool thing is we've been producing videos since 2015. We have almost 1,700 videos on our channel, which is a lot in the YouTube world. And the cool thing is that people go back to our beginning videos and they're like, I watched your first video. Man, have you grown? And wow, and this and that. And it's like, yeah, because, like, people can actually see your journey. A lot of people would be like, oh, don't you want to remove those videos? Because you know, whatever pixeled video, you know, I wasn't speaking correctly. But no, I leave them on there to show how it started and how it's going now, to show the journey.
Yeah, no, good points. You know, what I've heard is take baby steps. That's okay. Work on getting 1% better. And instead of focusing on yourself and what you think are your flaws, focus on your audience and what they need from you, because they're there they're not there to look at your flaws. They're there to learn something from you, or to gain knowledge from you, or to be inspired by you, or motivated, or whatever. So focus on that. And that's really, in a nutshell, what I hear you saying. And I remember when I first started, I was like, this is terrible. And I do a video and you guys are like, no, just get them out there. Just get them out there. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then, I did a few, and then I started doing interviews. And then you guys were like, when's the live show starting? And I'm like, what live show? Right? I could never do that. And then I remember last August, my first live show. I was terrified. I forgot to say my name. You go back and look at it. You'll see, like, oh my God, it was terrible. But there it is. It's out there. And I'm a lot more comfortable in video now. I'm a lot more comfortable on live video. And now when I'm prepping my guests, I tell them, look, this is live. You're gonna say and you're gonna fluff this, and that's okay. Just stop, take a breath, start again, because people want to see other human beings. We don't want robots. I don't want to watch robots. I want to see people with passion and, human flaws and all of that. So thank you for that.
Authenticity is huge. Like that's why people come to watch videos, like on YouTube, anywhere, on any social platform. Just the authenticity is what people want.
Exactly. And Jewel and I were talking about our hair before the show started. My hair is never good. And we're talking about it. So apparently some people badly need a shave. Yeah. And they're going to do a video anyway. So kudos to you.
Awesome. Good one. Way to move forward. I just
wanted to point out, it's not just women who are like, I'm imperfect today. Apparently men realize, it's like, oh, I could have shaved, but I'm not going to. Okay. So so once we get past this fear and we're like, okay, I'm here for my audience. This isn't about me. This is about my audience. What are the first steps? What do I do to get on YouTube?
Well, first of all, you need to actually have a channel, right? Your channel is your hub, right? And one of the very first things that we go over with our coaching clients, our YouTube coaching clients, is to set up the foundation of your hub. So your YouTube channel homepage is basically like a website. So you need to properly have a really good banner going on. And when you have the foundation of it being set up, it actually makes you feel good to know that you're putting your best step forward. Because when we have YouTube coaching clients come to us, oftentimes they've already started and it's already like, it's like a mess and it's in disarray. And that's the very first thing before they're like, oh, well, what gear do we need? And this and that. Like, no, hold on a second. We need to do the foundational stuff first and then start releasing all the content. And that's essentially what we did with you. The thing is, you need to at first choose a channel that you feel like you can talk about for a couple years. Don't start a channel that you think is gonna make a lot of money, which is what a lot of people do. Is they think that I'm gonna start this channel because it's a really hot topic right now. I'm not necessarily into it, but if I talk about it, then it's gonna make a lot of money. But when you do that, when you do stuff like that in general, it depletes you emotionally and you become empty, and then you end up hating that thing that you've created.
There's so many YouTuber burnout stories. And here's what to expect with being on YouTube is that it is a long-term game. So in order for you to stay in there in the long run and consistently produce new content on the channel, you have to love whatever it is that you're talking about. So, if you already have a book out there, you can release content around the topic of that book. And, start to brainstorm. I think a great first step is to brainstorm some ideas for content, right? Like just brainstorm. Don't judge the ideas. Don't think, oh, is this a good enough video idea? Is this going to work? Get that judgment part of you out there and just take a pen, piece of paper, just brainstorm video ideas. What would be fun to talk about? What would you want to share with your audience? Because you wrote a book or you have an idea for a book for a reason. It's you're passionate about this topic. You want to put something concrete, like a published book, out into the world and share that with more people. So there's so many different pieces of content that you can create from that.
Yeah, no, it's really good advice. So don't jump on YouTube. Sit back for a moment and think about, what is this about? What can I talk about long term? How do I set this up? Set up the YouTube channel properly. I know that I always say that I'm not very good at making anything look pretty. I'm just not that kind of pretty kind of person. So I know, Arit, you really helped me make my channel look branded and look good. I had the brand and I took it to you and I said, I don't know what to do with it. And you really helped out with that and made the
That's
channel
amazing.
look good. And then we actually sat down and we talked about what types of videos I should be making. And we had categories like planning a book, producing a book, so we actually sat down. And you also have, like, you do something on Mondays, you do something on Tuesdays. So you actually have kind of a schedule as well. Can you talk about kind of that side of YouTube?
Yeah, so our YouTube channel is, we just rebranded, but we have different types of content under the business umbrella, right? For us, when we started a channel, we knew that we didn't want to talk about one thing only, because we like doing many things in the online entrepreneurial world. So that's why on Mondays, we have content that's talking about how we make money online. And it's whatever we're doing, we're putting on the channel. It's kind of like a journey, an entrepreneurial journey of tutorials on our YouTube channel. And on Tuesdays, we do social media tutorials. And on Wednesdays, we do content creation tutorials, mainly with the video editing software Camtasia, which is what I use to edit our videos. So by having a structure like that, it makes your content strategy a lot easier. It's not just up in the air and you're like, what do I create? And it's like, okay, well, Monday's coming up, so it needs to be a video about how we make money online. Okay, so it kind of like helps narrow it down a little bit more and gets a little bit more structure going down. Yeah. For us at this point, there are so many video ideas. We see video ideas everywhere. It becomes a way of life, and you need to train your brain to see those kinds of ideas. Initially, it's difficult as a new YouTuber. You're like, what videos do I create? You just need to honestly have a brain dump, as Arit would like to call it, and just write down anything and everything that you would want to talk about, and see if there's categories, if you can group some of them, and then be like, oh, that's something that I could put on that day, or that's something that I can put on that day. And one of the things that we explained to you, Melody, is having a scheduled day and time to release videos and to do your interviews is a really good structured way to release content on YouTube. And also YouTube likes it. YouTube likes it when you are consistent, and it keeps you consistent because you know that you need to have, an interview happening at this time on this day, and it's not like sporadic, right? So it helps keep everything in line. So I highly recommend that people choose a day and time. And it's really funny because a lot of people don't have a schedule at all. They'll just upload whenever they feel like it. And that's fine. It'll get you to a certain point, but you really do need to have a structured time and day if you want to grow it bigger.
I think a lot of creativity comes out of having that structure too. It's just like you got to make an appointment with yourself on a certain day and a certain time to sit down and write. It's the same thing with YouTube. Set a certain day and or days of the week that you want your videos to come out of, and then identify that umbrella topic that you're all about. For us, it's helping creators or entrepreneurs grow their business online. And then within that, you can figure out what are those separate patterns or categories of topics. And then you can start to place those topics on certain days.
Yeah. And I remember when we were talking about it, for me, you guys were like, okay, you could do like planning on Monday and producing on Tuesday. And I'm like, no, that's too much for me. I can't do, I just got to do 2 a week. I need to start slowly. And then we're like, okay, so, the first Monday is planning. The second Monday is producing and so we had this schedule, and what's happened is it's morphed. right? And that's okay too. But
Mhm.
having something to start out with kept me on track. I could actually plan my videos 3 months out, 4 months out. And if I got a brainstorm, and I like to batch my videos, I like to do like 4 all at once. And that
Yeah.
really helped me. And I allowed it to morph and to change, but I still have a structure, but it has changed because because business changes, I come up with new ideas and all of that. So I really
Yeah.
think that's great advice. If you're out there looking for advice and you have a question, please drop a comment or a question, and I will pose it to Orit and Jewel.
I just
All
want to
right.
mention, sorry, real quick. We
Yes.
learned this whole structure. I just want to give a little bit of some history on how we learned this. We
Yeah.
actually learned this from Todd Herman, who is the author of The Alter Ego Effect. Now, he doesn't talk about this structure in The Alter Ego Effect, but we actually took his mentorship program many years ago in 2016, and we actually attended his conference in Las Vegas. He trains Olympic athletes, CEOs, and he explained this whole system of this structure, and it was called the 90-day year at the time. And this is how we learned to do these kinds of things for our YouTube channel. If we didn't learn this, if we didn't have this structure, there would be no way that we could get to 1,700 videos without structure.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that's where it came from. And his book, Alter Ego Effect, is really good.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And actually, I use a 90-day cycle in my planning as well. I find it really useful. A year is like way too long for me to think.
Yeah.
Sometimes a month is too short. I find 90 days is a really good cycle. So I do something similar. I do have yearly goals, but I do break them down into quarterly. 90 days is a great length. All right, I want to talk about success on YouTube because it's such a big question. You hear people saying, you'll be successful when you get X number of subscribers and so much watch time, or, you'll be successful when you're making X dollars, or when YouTube lets you put on ads, or this or that. And I think that for authors, they may not be looking at success in the same way that some other people on YouTube are looking at. They're not like, how many subscribers can I get and how much money can I make? It might be about getting out there, or engaging with readers, or what is success on YouTube?
So success, nobody else can define success for you. It is entirely subjective, not just with YouTube, but with anything. You're the one who's going to define success. And one of the first things that we do in our YouTube coaching is ask, what is your goal? What is it that you want to get out of YouTube? What would be ideal? What would you love to see from your YouTube channel? And everybody's answer is different, and it's for us, like a big thing is impact. And so when we see comments that are saying, thank you so much, you've helped me so much, this is a ton of value,
you changed my life, I get
success.
high off of those comments.
Yeah, like that is a measure of our success. So you really have to define what that success is for yourself. And go deeper too. Like if you're like, I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, well, why? What does that mean? What does it mean to have 1,000 subscribers? What is it? Because you want to build your audience? Well, what's the reason behind that? Why do you want to have an audience? Is it maybe you want sponsorships later down the road? Okay. So you got to get like deeper with that and define that success for yourself.
And I will say that the typical projection of success on YouTube, where you need to get 1 million subscribers and have millions of views, first of all, that doesn't equate to money. That there are channels that have millions of subscribers, but they make like a couple $100 per month. A lot of people are shocked that we break the boundaries of what a channel could make based on the subscribers. And so our channel is considered small in the YouTube industry at 44,000 subscribers, but our channel, because we know about business and entrepreneurship and multiple income streams, when you set your channel up in a certain way, you can make a really good earning on YouTube, and it does not have to be from subscribers.
Yeah.
For example, we have this YouTube channel that we manage, and they're real estate investors. They have only 1,600 subscribers. They don't even create videos for their YouTube channel. I have to get videos from their live streams because they just don't have time. They're so busy. And so I just extract pieces of content from their live streams. I put it on their channel, repurpose the content, and their channel made a coaching client sale, which was $10,000. And most people would be like, that's not possible because you only have 1,600 subscribers. That doesn't make sense. And so we're here to show people that yes, you very much can make money without the monetization, without the 1,000 subscribers, without the 4,000 watch hours. It's all in the way that you structure your channel.
I was going to add to that video that brought that sale in for them, it had less than 100 views on it at the time.
Yeah. So again, you don't need a lot of views.
It's not a direct correlation. You know, the more views I have, the more money I make. No, it's all in how you plant those seeds into your channel.
Yeah. And I think I'm glad we talked about that. I think it's a really good point because I know in the author world, there's a lot of contention about what success means to be an author, right? I'm a bestseller, or I'm on this bestseller list, or I won this award, or, I sold this many books. And some people are like, well, I won this award, but I've only sold 1,000 books. So yeah, but you won an award, right? So what does success mean to you? I think that's a really good question. It's something I ask authors all the time, or people who want to write books. They're like, I want to write a book. And it's like, why? Right? And really digging into that why and what success means for you. I'm glad you said that about YouTube as well. And we still have coaching. I'm still coaching with you guys. So we're just going to keep talking about that behind the scenes to help me.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Awesome.
So you talked about the alter ego effect. It's one of the books that made a huge difference for you. So if you were the alter ego effect author, what kind of videos might you put on YouTube?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
The alter ego. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to, I have a different book in mind that I would answer that question for, but go ahead.
You're next, Arit.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was the author of the alter ego effect, what kinds of videos would I create? Is that your question? Okay.
Yeah.
So the book Alter Ego Effect is about creating this alter ego through different objects. So for Todd Herman, it's his glasses. So he actually explains that he doesn't need glasses, but he puts on these glasses to become a different person. So by becoming a different person, you can do, if you become the person that you want to become, but you think you can't, but then you put on the glasses, it's like a Superman thing. So I would do videos on stories of people with their different objects that they use. There are some people that have a pen that all of a sudden changes them, or glasses, or a hat. For me, it was, I chose this dice, this really shiny, is like a black stone dice with it's not real diamonds, but it looks like diamonds. I got it for like $20. And to me, the dice really means a lot to me because I choose this message of make your own luck instead of, rolling the dice and like having luck come to you, but you make your own luck. So I would do videos on different objects that people actually use. I would give examples of actual stories of people, and I would do, real life things like Superman is a perfect example of the alter ego effect. And that's why people really like comics and stuff. So I would do videos like that, a lot of storytelling type videos, because I do like doing storytelling videos. Those are some of my favorite videos. They don't necessarily get the most views or make the most money, but they do have the most impact. So that's another thing that you need to recognize on your channel is sometimes the videos that you like doing the most aren't the ones that make the most money, but I still do them. But there are YouTubers that are like, it doesn't make money, it doesn't get subscribers, so therefore I shouldn't do them. But then they end up feeling empty and then depleted and wondering why they hate their channel. So that's what I would do.
That's great. And that's a cool concept. I didn't say it. Somebody else said that. Thank you, CF Moto Side Rider. All right, Arit, what book would you do?
Yeah, I would highly recommend reading Build Your Story Brand. I think you've also read it, Melody.
I have,
um,
absolutely.
by Donald Miller. And I actually have it here, this book right here, Building Your Story Brand. So this was a book that really impacted me a lot in terms of marketing, creating powerful messaging and marketing. So whatever you're putting out there on social media, whatever you're promoting, it could be like a post on social media, it could be like your website, it could be like a piece of content that you're wanting to use to sell, it could be an email that you write. Everything has to evolve around your messaging. So it's it's your messaging, and how are you creating that story that brings people in and allows them to see that you are the guide and you are the mentor that's going to help them get to where they want to go. So building a story brand is a framework for writing that story, for writing that messaging. And that's why it's so impactful, because you could take the framework in this book and apply it to whatever it is, whatever piece of content that you're creating, even for like writing a video script. Super powerful, so that's a book that I recommend. But in terms of what pieces of content I'd create on the channel for that, you could talk about, it's a 7-part framework. So you can create one video sharing those 7 parts, those 7-step framework. So it's like kind of like an overview. You can create separate videos on one segment of that framework. So like what's the first step in that framework. You can bring in other people. You can interview, just like you're doing here, Melody, bring in other people talking about how, doing the story brand framework has impacted them and how they've been able to use it. You could do implementation videos. So like showing this is how I did the messaging for my website using the story brand framework. There's just so many ideas. And the list goes on and on. You could do like product reviews around it. It's once you get started with writing your first few ideas down and like you make that a habit. We always tell our YouTube coaching clients, you have to make YouTube a habit, a weekly habit,
Building a muscle.
Yes,
reps.
That's what you're doing. You're building a muscle. So every time you sit down to do those reps, to write down those video ideas, it just gets easier and easier. And then they just kind of come hard and fast. And you just need to be there to capture them.
Yeah.
It's getting the ball rolling.
I want to pick up on something you said, Arit, about the book. You said, it's got seven stages in 7 steps. And so you could do an overview and then you could do one for each. So something I hear from people sometimes when they're even talking about just writing a book, but I think it would apply to YouTube as well. A lot of people, for example, I have a coaching program, and I want to write a book, but I don't want to give it all away, because if I give it all away, people won't come work with me. Okay, yeah, you've heard this.
Oh, I've heard it so many times.
I hear this all the time. I can't give it away because if I put it in a video or in a book, nobody will work with me. Well, how do you respond to that? I know how I do. I want to know how you respond to that.
So yeah, that's the mine, and it's like secret and that kind of thing. We hear it all the time in the course creation world as well. Yeah. And even on YouTube videos. And just recently, actually, somebody recently joined our private group, and they're like, I don't want to say what my video is because I don't want anyone to steal it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, first of all, you're putting it on YouTube, so it's going to be public. And second of all, the more you give out, the more people want to come over to you. So in our YouTube channel, we don't hold anything back. Even on our free live streams that we do on Thursdays, later on today, actually, people ask us questions and we give so much value, over the top value, that there's a thing that happens in people's minds that they're like, wait a minute, they're giving so much away for free. And then we go and say, hey, we have a coaching program or we have this. They automatically think that if they get this information for free, if they pay, it's going to be as good or even better. So don't be afraid to give. And take this concept from Gary Vaynerchuk. Like, he gives constantly and he barely even has anything to sell. But when he does, people buy it like crazy, like his shoes or his wine. He doesn't even have a course, and he's constantly giving away, like he could easily charge $100,000 an hour for his advice, but he just gives it all away. The concept of giving is actually what you get back. So don't be so, it's mine, because if you keep it a secret, then nobody knows about it. Then nobody wants to come buy whatever you have. So
yeah. And this is my answer. So you guys you put it all out there on your YouTube channels. You have group coaching, you have courses, and you have private coaching. So when I came to work with you, I had all these options, right? And I could have just said, hey, I have no money, I'm just going to watch your YouTube videos. But I didn't. I said, you know what? Hold my hand. We're going to do some private coaching. Yeah. Tell me what I need to know when I need to know it, not before, not after. Lead me through. Don't overwhelm me. And that's what we've been doing. And there's a reason, because I don't want to go through 1,700 videos and find that one video and try to put them in order to make sense. It's like, no. And I didn't want to do group coaching. I felt like that was going to be too slow, and I didn't want to take a course. I just wanted you to tell me what I needed to know when I needed to know it. So yes, you put it all out there. And this is what I tell clients. It's yes, you put it all out there, but some people want the hand holding and some people want the do it yourself. So, and there's a whole continuum between those two. So give them everything you have in every form you can and let them choose how they want to consume your content. That's what I say. And if you're watching, I'm going to be at the Essetino YouTube channel tonight at 6 p.m. Orit and Jewel do a live stream every Thursday at 6 p.m. They've been doing it since COVID started. So if you want, join me there. I'd love to see you. I'd love to see you there. I just thought I'd throw that out there for you.
Thank you.
So what are you working on now?
What we're working on right now is actually rebranding in general. And we are also rebranding a course that we released. So it was a YouTube SEO course. We released it. I will say we failed forward fast with this one. And so it took us a while to create the course, but in terms of marketing, we failed forward fast. We put it out there, we released it, got sales and got feedback very quickly on what we actually need to restructure and redo. So we're in the process of rebranding. It initially started off with rebranding the course, and then we're like, wait a minute, we need to rebrand in general. It's the next stage of Essetino. So we went from being called Essetino Artist to Essetino Media. And initially it started off as Essetino Connections. So it's been evolving and changing. And speaking of names, I want to give a quick funny story here. So the name Essetino, the way that we came up with it was at the time when we were thinking of cool names, we were like, what's a cool name like Google? Right. And Orit is really good at coming up with names. And we're like, we want like a weird sounding one word cool name. And so she merged our last names. So her last name is Esselin. My last name is Tolentino. So that's why it's Essetino. And it's like a weird thing. And that's the name that came up with it based on the first question that you asked. Just thought it would be a fun story.
And it works. It works out well. So I also have how do you find time to be artists and run a media firm? Like, do you sleep?
Yeah, actually.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
You know what? I watch Netflix. I visit my parents. I visit my new nephew. So it all comes down to the stuff that we learned from Todd Herman about having structure, having automation, assigning things to certain days, and then also still making time to have fun. Because when we first started out in our entrepreneurial journey, we thought we were like 24/7 only work. That's all. And then it drove me crazy. And it was like, this is not a way of life. So it's having the structure and assigning things to certain days and keeping to that structure. And I will have to say that Orit was the one who really implemented that with Essetino.
Yeah, I think it's super important to still set time aside to fulfill yourself creatively. I mean, everyone has different values. For me, and I know for Jewel as well, creativity is a massive value in both of our lives. And so we need to incorporate that. You literally have to design your week so that you incorporate that. There's no such thing as finding time. You have to make time, because you're never going to find time.
You'll always be looking for it.
Yeah, you have to carve out that time slot in your week. So, you know, wherever you can do that, you know, it might not be ideal at first. Maybe it's like in the evenings, and maybe those aren't the best times to write, but that's all you have to work with for now. You got to start somewhere, and just the act of doing that, of creating, of being the artist, of being in flow, it's not just for creating that project, but it fulfills you and literally gives you the energy and fuel to go on with the rest of your business. And when you do get into those, like, down in those details, those technicalities, the, you know, throwing your website up, all of that stuff, it helps with that.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And how I started with you, and I'm just going to throw this up there. I started with a free guide to get you going on YouTube. And so I just wanted to throw that link in the description for people, because that's how I started. So, and it's been, to be honest, it's been an awesome journey. I've learned so much. And here I am doing, you know, my second year of YouTube channel. I think I'm 6-7 months into weekly live shows. I did take a break for Christmas. I do take breaks now and then. But yeah, thank you very much. So people who've been listening in, they want to know how to get a hold of you. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you could go over to our website. I know Melody has the links in the description on YouTube, essetinomedia.com. You can contact us that way. The free guide, the free YouTube guide, is also on our site. So as soon as you land there, you'll see a link to go to the free YouTube guide, which is, it basically gives you 12 ready to film ideas or ready to go ideas to start your channel, because everyone's like, where do I start? I'm new to YouTube. What do I say in these videos? All this kind of stuff. So we created a guide that has those, not only the 12 ideas that you can create, no matter what industry you're in, but also each idea has a prompt associated with it. So when you're, or not just a prompt, but also questions that kind of prompt you to give answers. So for each of those ideas, by the time you finish answering all those questions, you'll have a full outline ready to go, ready to film for that. So, you know, I'm encouraging you to get the free guide if you do have like an ounce of interest in being on YouTube, because that's a really great place to start. And also it allows you to, you know, be on our mailing list and join our world as well, because we have some really exciting things planned for this year. Really excited to release that upgraded course that Jewel was talking about earlier. It's going to really help a lot of creators grow on YouTube and monetize as well in many different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our whole new message is, right now we're focusing on getting 100 YouTubers to their first $1,000 in revenue from their channel. And that's kind of like our main focus right now, is to help 100 people get to that first monetary goal. Because I know it's scary for people, and they're like, the first question we get is like, can I really do this? And it's like, yes, you can. It's always a resounding yes. Yeah. If you first of all, if you believe it and if you actually take action on it, yes, you can do it.
Yeah. And getting a guide, whether it's watching your YouTube videos or taking courses or joining your group or doing the one-on-one coach, getting that guidance is, I believe that if you want to grow, you get guidance from people who are ahead of you. And so that's what I did, and something I'm going to continue to doing. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. And you guys are also just so much fun.
Thank you for having us, Melody. We're so... Yeah. We talk about you a lot to people who are, you know, just, can I do this? You know, I'm thinking of starting a channel, and you're really one of those stories. We're just so proud to share your story. You've come such a long way.
Yeah, you started from nothing without a YouTube channel, and you're like, I want a YouTube channel. And then we're like, okay, do this, this, and this. And you're like, perfect example of someone who just went for it, wasn't afraid if they were doing things incorrectly, and like you just went, like you literally went for it and implemented literally everything that we said, and now you have this like weekly YouTube show, and honestly, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing.
Thanks, Jewel. Thanks, Arit. You know, just so you know, Jewel, you said I wasn't afraid. I was terrified out all the time. I just want to say that, just because people out there like, yo, she wasn't afraid, but I'm terrified. So how do I do it? So the truth is, every step was terrifying. Like every step, it's like now I'm doing a live. I was terrified. So it's actually not about not being afraid. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. To be honest, I just want to throw that out there. Thank you so much. And I will see everyone next week. This is #1 for 2022. And there will be many more awesome live shows coming. Thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome.
No problem.